There's one file in your project that quietly controls everything Claude Code does. Most people get it completely wrong, and I was one of them. My Claude.md had grown to over 1,500 lines. Every coding convention, every edge case, code snippets, database schemas, the works. I thought I was being thorough. I was so proud of that file. Surely this would make Claude understand my project perfectly. It did not. Claude started missing obvious things. Instructions I knew were in there, ignored. The more I added to my Claude.md, the worse Claude performed. The problem wasn't that Claude couldn't follow instructions. The problem was that I'd given it too many to follow. So what exactly is Claude.md? It's a simple markdown file that sits right here, at the root of your project, alongside your source code and config files. When you start a Claude Code session, it reads this file automatically. That's the key. It gives you persistent memory across otherwise stateless conversations. After your choice of model, your Claude.md file is the single biggest point of leverage you have. One bad line in there cascades into everything downstream. Your spec, your research, your plan, your code. Here's the thing nobody tells you. LLMs have a finite number of instructions they can reliably follow at once. Adding more doesn't just risk the new ones being ignored, it degrades performance across all your instructions. Research from Chroma on something called context rot confirms this. As tokens in the context window increase, the model's ability to recall information decreases. Your comprehensive Claude.md might actually be making Claude worse at remembering what's in it. Let me break down the math. The model can reliably follow around 250 instructions at once. Claude Code system prompt already takes up about 50 of those. That leaves you roughly 200, and that has to cover your Claude.md, your plan, and your task combined. So aim for under 300 lines, ideally much shorter. So how do you write a good Claude.md? Think of it as an onboarding document for a brilliant new hire. You tell them 3 things. What? Your tech stack and project structure. Why? The purpose of the project. And how? Your commands, workflows, and conventions. Everything else can live somewhere else. Where you put things actually matters. Models pay more attention to the top and bottom of a document than the middle. Same cognitive biases humans have. So put your most critical instructions at the top and bottom. Start with a concise project description. 3 lines. Claude now knows what you're building, who it's for, and the core architecture. That's it. Be explicit with your key commands. Don't assume Claude knows your setup, and include the non-obvious choices, like use npm, not pnpm, or Claude will helpfully pick something else for you. This is where most Claude.md files bloat into monsters. Don't write vague instructions like use good coding practices or write clean code. Those accomplish nothing. Instead, be specific. TypeScript strict mode, no any types. Use named exports, not default exports. Every instruction should produce a measurable difference in output. Put your do nots at the bottom of the file. Why? The recency effect. Models pay more attention to what they read last, and make each one specific and actionable. Don't say, be careful with the database. Say exactly what not to do, and why. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Instead of cramming everything into one giant root file, you can distribute smaller Claude.md files across subfolders. The magic. They only load when Claude actually reads files in that folder. Here's what that looks like. Your root Claude.md sits at the top. It always loads at session start. Then each subfolder, src, API, tests, gets its own Claude.md. These only load when Claude actually touches files in that folder. So your context stays lean. Only the instructions you need, exactly when you need them. Your root file stays small, maybe 50 to 100 lines. Project description, global commands, universal rules. Then each subfolder gets its own focused file. Your src folder gets component patterns. Your API folder gets endpoint conventions. Your database folder gets migration rules. There's another trick. Reference detailed docs instead of inlining everything. Add a references section that points to your README, your API patterns doc, your auth flow. Claude reads these on demand, not up front. Let me show you a complete example that actually works. Project description up top, 3 lines, key commands, tech stack, architecture overview, code conventions, each one specific and actionable, and at the bottom, your important do nots and references to deeper docs. That's roughly 45 lines. Clean, scannable, universally applicable. Compare that to a 1500-line monster. And the difference in Claude's performance is night and day. Here's your growth strategy. Step 1. Start with just the root file. Keep it minimal, 20 lines. Step 2. Grow it organically. Every time Claude repeats a mistake, add one instruction. Step 3. Scale with subfolder files and imports. But the real trick: with every model upgrade, look at what you can remove, not add remove. Your Claude.md isn't a write-once file. Every few weeks, audit it. Remove anything the model handles naturally now. You'd be surprised how much that is after an upgrade. Relocate domain rules into subfolder files where they belong. And simplify. If two instructions say almost the same thing, merge them. Every line should earn its place. Here's the full ecosystem. At the top, your personal defaults in tasked Claude. Then the project root file. This is where most teams start. Subfolder files load lazily as Claude reads nearby code, and imports pull in external docs on demand. Start with the project root. The rest will follow naturally. Here's my challenge for you. Open your most active project. Look at your Claude.md and ask yourself one question. What instruction am I going to remove today? Not add, remove. Every line should earn its place. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives on getting the most out of AI-assisted development. Full guide with code examples is linked in the description.